Welcome, everybody, to Saves Together, a podcast about playing games together. Whether that means co-op or passing the controller back and forth or just playing the same game at the same time, it doesn't matter how, it only matters that it's together because...
When you save together, you stay together.
I'm Craig McGowan, and that...
Grace Novak.
...is Grace Novak. This is episode 20, which is kind of cool.
That is very cool.
And we're talking, for the first time ever, we're doing a part 2, Divinity Original Sin II, part 2. This time we're going to touch more on some story stuff, our final thoughts before we had only beaten Act 2.
Yeah, I think when we recorded the first part, we were about a little less than halfway through the game. We were like through Act 2.
I mean, we haven't finished this episode at all, so maybe your opinion will change, but how do you feel about doing it that way for bigger things?
I enjoyed it. I think it's hard to keep track of everything I've thought, but I think it's almost necessary sometimes for these bigger games because they just take so long.
That's what I kind of like about it is you got us in the middle of our fervor, and now we've been away from it.
Yeah,
for a
we've had
bit.
some time. I definitely like having time to reflect and just like get away from it and think about how did the experience like change me as a person, man? You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But like it would also be cool to do it with a game like No Man's Sky if we ever went back to it. That's a game we were thinking about doing in the future because it's so big and they keep adding updates.
You mean after updates, even more updates have been hit?
Also, but like if we were playing for a little bit and then we continue playing sort of thing. It just depends on the game and how interested we are, really.
Yeah, what I like about this is it was less stressful. Not that it's ever stressful to beat a game to do an episode, but knowing like, okay, we don't have to have finished it or to say our thoughts. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, no, that's nice.
Before we talk Divinity, I keep wanting to say Diablo. I feel like that BlizzCon thing has Diablo on my brain. Head. What have you been playing?
I have been playing primarily Red Dead Redemption 2. We both have. I've been playing Ys 8 by Falcom, and they also do the Trails games.
That's the YS thing, right?
Right.
Ys. Trails are one of your favorite?
Yeah, Trails of Cold Steel. Remember where I talked about that? I beat those recently, the first two.
Nice.
And I really like them, and I really like this game. This game's really great. But the earlier ones are more in the 2D world, so I like the combat in this game a lot.
Are they like the same engine or anything? Can you tell?
Probably not.
Okay.
Not even close.
Oh well, one was a PS3 game, right?
Right. But it looked more on the 2D side of things.
And this is
all 3D.
What I mean is, Trails.
Oh, Trails
was PS3.
No, that looks very, very different from this game.
They're not. Okay.
Yeah. Also, been Red Dead Redemption 2. That's been great. You know, my opinion goes up and down about Red Dead Redemption 2. It's a journey, but I think overall it's a good journey.
I feel like when you have a game that's more methodical and slow, and the fun comes from kind of living in a world almost, I feel like the ups and downs are always gonna happen. Like I don't know how to I don't know why, but it just like with Sea of Thieves, there'll be some sessions where I'm like, you know what, that was kind of whatever, but for some reason I'm still drawn to it. I think it's because you go into the world. I don't know how to. I don't know. Do you have a sense of what I'm picking?
Honestly,
are you picking up anything
really.
I'm putting down? I
mean, I'm thinking more of just like getting tired of a game sometimes. Like it's getting too much of the world where you're like, ugh. I don't know.
See, I wonder if because I like these slower pace. Like, hey, you have to stop and cook your food.
This isn't me not liking the slow pace.
No,
I love the pace of the game.
I think, but I'm wondering, does the pace factor into ups and downs? Where because I feel like a couple of people I've talked to have said, I'm kind of over it. And then, the next week, it's like, I'm back in.
Yeah, maybe you're right then. Yeah, I think the pace does.
I don't know. Is it just the pace? That's just comes naturally with such a paced thing?
Yeah, I think you're right, because sometimes a certain mission will interest me more. And then I'm like, oh, I'm excited to, what's going to happen on this mission, you know?
Yeah, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's not that, but we don't have to dig into it too much.
So what are you playing?
Tetris Effect.
Oh yeah, I played some of that today too. We just got it.
I've never been a Tetris person. I've played Tetris. I played a lot of Tetris Blitz, which is fast-paced Tetris versus another person. I think that's what it's called. It was a Facebook game. I'm not gonna lie.
I played a lot of farming. What's that farming game?
Farmville?
Yeah, Farmville.
Oh,
remember Farmville?
No, I didn't play it.
Damn, dude, those were the days. All right, keep going. Sorry.
But so when I first popped Tetris Effect into the PlayStation, I was trying to play very quickly, and I know you get a higher score for that, but I was used to play really quickly and beat someone in about 2.5 minutes, and I like got good at playing that way, but it doesn't really work to play this way because it's not actually good Tetris fundamentals. So for a little while, I was kind of struggling because I was like, my brain wouldn't keep up with like.
He had to get good,
Yeah,
as we
but
say.
I played a lot last night. I've only played for a day now at this point.
Oh my god, this makes me want to go play it.
Oh, yeah,
Tetris is so addicting.
I'm gonna go play that. This is my favorite puzzle game. I mean, that type of puzzle game. This is the Tetris game that I love. I never really did the Tetris DS thing, and when I say I played a lot on Facebook, I played like maybe for a week. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a Tetris person, but
I'm a Picross fan myself.
I might be a Tetris person after this. If you guys haven't played it, I highly suggest it, I think.
I think people were balking at the price.
$30?
I think it's 40.
Whatever.
Well, because I think Tetris has been like historically that game that's like kind of cheap because it's just Tetris, right?
I guess.
But this game definitely gives you a lot of bang for your buck. I mean, it's the visuals and music and every level is just so fun to look at.
Dude, I was just staring at the screen, jamming out to Tetris, like kind of shutting my brain off a little bit. Like, I don't know.
It's really nice.
Really awesome.
I played this morning for a bit, and it was just like a good way to like start my gaming day because today's Saturday.
I like it as a palette.
Little warm up.
Like, yeah, a little warm up game before Red Dead. You know.
Yeah, just like a couple levels.
I wish it was on Switch. I know it's a PSVR title, so.
I don't know. I feel like you need that big screen though.
But imagine just headphones in bed.
That's true.
Late at night playing.
That is true.
I don't know. I think that's what I've been playing.
Yeah.
We got a lot of games. We'll talk about them as we,
yeah, as we dig through them, because we really do have a lot of games.
Red Dead and Tetris are my current. So let's talk about Divinity Original Sin 2 again. Developed by Larian Studios, but you probably already know that because we talked about it. And if you're listening to this one and not that last one, you're probably fine. You could do it, but we're not going to go through the whole factors of co-op because we already talked about them all.
Oh yeah.
So let's just start with.
What's your thought?
Do you want to? Okay, yeah.
Like overall thought.
Yeah. What's your final thoughts?
At the end of the day.
The end of the game. The end of the day.
I would say this is a big contender for our co-op game of the year.
I would say this is a contender for my game of the year. Not even our co-op. Like.
No, same. Like I really enjoyed it.
Listen, Red Dead's great.
Red Dead is definitely not better than Divinity.
God of War was amazing, but
God of War is a good contender too.
For me, spoiler alert, but this is the top. I can't, unless Pokemon blows my mind. I don't think
it won't.
Right. I don't think Smash is going to top it. I think it's going to be very fun, both of these.
Smash.
But I don't think it can be better than this in my. I've never. It's few and far between that I have a game I didn't know anything about, and then it blew my mind. You know what I mean? Did you have that same experience with this?
Yes, I think this game is really great, and I just think it's so exciting. It's so exciting to play because there's just so much, and it's just like wow, like I could talk to everybody, and anybody might have a quest, and there's items and everything. I don't know, it's just fun. It was really an enjoyable, almost like childlike experience to play this game for the first time.
Yeah, like what could this even like? This felt like playing. I guess Diablo, not gameplay wise at all, but like the first time you play a game that feels so unlike anything you've done, you didn't know this really existed. You know what I mean?
Sort of like how I felt playing World of Warcraft for the first time.
Yeah,
like just like and that's on a totally different level, but just feeling like wow, there is a whole world here. Like you don't get a lot of that. I don't know. I get that sometimes. That's why I like JRPGs. I feel some amount of that, but this definitely gave me a big feeling like.
But do you get that feeling with Ys, or is it just more like, oh yeah, no, that's how this game works. It's really good, it's really cool, but
Ys is a different feeling. Ys is like my typical JRPG feeling of just like addiction, just like a drug in my system.
No, hey,
it's like yeah, just the JRPG shit, man. Like I really like it.
Right.
You know, this was different. This is more like Christmas morning. You know.
Okay,
wow, really
right.
Getting philosophical about my game feels. Today.
I'm trying to. I don't have a single analogy in me right now.
Really?
Diablo 3 is my example.
Christmas morning, I think, is a good one. You don't feel that way?
Well,
I don't know if you felt you have the same.
But
thing.
why is it Christmas morning?
Because it's just like coming downstairs, like all the presents, and knowing that you have a whole day ahead to play whatever. I've always liked games, so I knew I was gonna get a game.
Yeah.
To play your games and eat chocolate, like it's just like a warm, fuzzy feeling.
I guess for me, it's more akin to finding $100 on the ground.
That's good too.
You didn't expect to get hit with this, and now your day is better.
That's true. So yeah, very good. I feel very good about this game. So I wanted to talk about specifically, the last half that we played, and also the final battle, which I think and this is why it was good we waited to talk about this, because that final battle really fucked us up emotionally. And I feel like it would have been a more bitter podcast had we done this like the day after we finished that final battle.
Right. We've now gotten to sleep on it many a night. And it's worth it.
It's been a couple months, right? When did we finish the game?
At least a month.
Yeah.
At least. But I think about it very frequently. I mention it when people say, like, I'm just looking for a game. You might want to give Divinity a shot.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to a lot of people now.
I would say, we talked about it last time, but the co-op is difficult. It will cause tension. So maybe just play this by yourself.
It's sort of like the equivalent of going on a trip for the first time with your partner and like really finding out like how strong your relationship is.
Yeah.
Because it is a tester. It is a test of your relationship.
I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about you. I learned a lot about life.
We did. We learned a lot about how we play games with each other. And I think that was an educating experience in a good way, but like it was hard.
Just yesterday or the other day had a discussion based around what happened when we played Divinity, which was I view things, this isn't a knock against you if it sounds like that. I feel I view things a few steps ahead and I plan for the thing ahead that's happening, whereas you do the more logical thing right now. And I think that's why you're better at Smash and faster paced. I don't want to say twitchy, but like reacting versus planning, I think maybe.
But that's kind of ironic to me because in our lives, it's literally the opposite. Yep. I am the planner. So how can it be in games? It's like the opposite. I don't know, but
I like Swords of Ditto. I was unable to figure out the control. Like, I don't like the controls. And you're like, just dodge, just do this, just do that.
From most people's point of view, it looks like I am better at games than Craig if you watch us play games because, like he's saying, I'm good at... He's making a face. But if you watch us play Smash, I can beat you every time.
Yeah, that's why I brought up Smash as an example. Okay, but you
can beat me at Magic. So I'm talking about like planning ahead games.
If we were to record board games where it's like, why would you not do this one thing that in 10 turns will pay off, right?
Right.
Again, I'm not saying you don't ever notice those things, but so why this conversation happens, we were talking about something. I was talking about how you're going to kill me at Smash. No, it was because of Magicka. We started playing Magicka 2.
Oh, yeah, we just got Magicka 2.
And my fucking brain sucks. I cannot fathom these controls, okay?
We just started, so it may get better for him, and we're still going to play.
That's not my review. I like the game.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it in a later episode when we play more of it. But yeah, I was just catching on really quickly.
Yeah, and I just don't catch on quickly, but then I would be like, I was trying to decide. I was like, that's why you're better at Smash. Like I feel like you pick up. Is it reaction? Maybe reaction's the wrong word.
It's somewhat of a reaction. It's also just like
reactionary.
I wanted to say hand-eye coordination, but that's not what I mean. I mean like hand-brain coordination.
I can throw a better dart.
Okay, what I mean is like, muscle memory as far as understanding controls and connecting that to your brain of understanding what you need to do. I don't know.
Are you the type of learner? There's 3 types, right? Oral or whatever. I don't know.
I believe I'm a doing learner.
Oh, really? Because I was going to say, because it feels like to me, I get it eventually after I do it a lot.
I have to do things to understand them, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. I guess you just made
because that's why math was always hard for me. Because if I was just hearing about what was going on, I had to do the problems multiple times. I don't know. The learning thing always confused me.
Yeah, maybe that thing's inaccurate.
It's hard. But I think, it's interesting. I kind of want to read more about, like, how does playing games, the way we play games, differentiate from, like, the way we learn and the way we are in life? Because it feels like the way I am in life is not how I play games, right?
And, yeah, like you even said.
Because I'm a planner.
Not apparently. I feel it's pretty true. Like, I'm the planner in games. I'm like, because things in Divinity, we'll bring it back to Divinity. I would be like, don't do that attack. Save your AP because next time you'll have 6 action points and you'll be able to do 3 attacks.
I think sometimes we also just disagreed on strategy.
No, yes, totally. But to me, I would offer that as a suggestion, and you'd be like, no, like not no in a snotty way. No, like what? Not even that. That makes it sound like you wouldn't get it. But I knew you understood what I'm saying, but you just don't do it that way. But then to me, it's like
I have another way of doing it, which
the
can
benefit
still work, but
in the future, the benefit will be so much greater than it is now. Even though, yeah, yours works. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I know what you mean. It's complicated, and yeah, this game is difficult. It's interesting to think about as far as co-op, what changes for a game that stops, and what changes for a game that keeps going. Like a game that stops.
You mean the turn-basedness?
Right. We can talk to each other more, and a game that keeps going, we don't have to. There's less annoying each other because we don't have to communicate. We can just keep going, like Yarny 2. Like, there's less, like, do this, do that, because we're just going.
And it's kind of like throwing me to the dragon pit. I have to figure, like, in Magica, I have to figure it out because she's running to the end of the screen.
Right.
You know, none of this is saying I don't like how, you know, it actually helps me sometimes. I'm like, oh, I get it. I had to figure it out on the fly because if I was doing this by myself in whatever situation, I would have stopped. Like fighting games, when people in the beginning of a fighting game, they say, okay, don't attack, let's figure out the moves, right? I hate that personally.
That's me in Smash Brothers.
Really?
Well, when I first played out the characters.
I am so excited to play Smash with you.
Oh my god, I'm so excited.
Because I'm not a Smash person. I know we've probably covered this. I'm not a Smash person.
I feel like you're just going to get annoyed really quickly and turn
Maybe, but I have my own copy, and I'll go play the adventure mode
true.
and collect cool stickers of guys I like.
They're not stickers, they're spirits.
Yeah, what the fuck.
Okay, so let's talk about the final battle.
Well, let's go act by act really quick.
Okay, you want to do act by act first?
In Act 1, what was your favorite part? Is there maybe just memories?
Just to explain a little bit, the game's divided into 4 acts, and each act probably lasted, 10 hours? 10 to 20.
Yeah.
They're very long, and they're based on the same map. So each act was a new map, okay? So what are we talking about? Act 1?
Act 1.
Things I remember.
Which is Reaper's Coast?
That was the first act. That's when you're in the huh?
What's it called? Do you remember?
I don't know.
Reaper's
I think
Coast
you said
Act 2.
Reaper's Coast.
I think that's Act 2.
No.
I don't remember.
The fort. Fort Joy.
Fort Joy.
Yeah, that's where you're imprisoned.
It's after the little tutorial boat.
Yes, correct. Right. Things I remember. First thing I remember is I got a cat. It was a black cat and it followed you around. And when I first got this cat, I was like, oh, we get pets in this game.
And you got the cat at the exact same time I got Sir Laura, which is
another companion.
Squirrel,
it's a companion, not a pet.
Squirrel riding a skeleton cat.
Yes.
And so it was like, oh, these are the companions that our characters get.
Then at some point I'm in Fort Joy and I walk up to a guard and the guard just shoots my cat because he said black cats are superstitious and the cat fucking died. And I was just like, what the hell? I actually kind of loved this moment because it was like, whoa, I don't have control.
That's one of those things. It's like, I didn't know games would.
Right. I didn't know you could. Normally you have a companion in a game. It's just your companion. You know, that's it. No one can kill it. But yeah, it just totally killed my cat. And then I found out later there's a trophy/achievement for getting the cat to the end of the game.
That's cool.
And that there are no other companions. As far as we saw, there are no other companions in this game. Like there's no dogs that I could walk around with. Like it was just that cat.
But if we had Pet Pal earlier, would we have talked to
possibly,
dogs?
But I don't think so. Because that trophy seemed like if you like this one cat that you could pick up, get it to the end of the game, like that's
right. Cool.
Like a cute little thing. Another thing I remember is the final battle before we left. I thought was cool with the giant worm.
Giant worm, right? Yeah.
We got a bunch of friends from the kid. Like we basically freed all these people, and they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna fight with you at the last." But like, yeah, that's cool. And then they all just like sucked and died. I remember that. That was a bummer.
That was the first. That boss fight was good. I liked that boss fight.
Yeah, that boss fight was pretty good. I thought we did okay.
I remember it felt stressful, but
they always felt stressful.
Stressful, but not impossible.
Right.
I really liked. This is the place where you learn teleportation, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So the teleportation blew my mind, and I believe is this where we did the tower, the lightning tower?
Yes.
That was my favorite part of just like, oh, it's like that.
Yeah, where you can like feel like you can go anywhere. Like you can almost break the game. Like you're not breaking the game, but it feels that way.
Right.
That's a great feeling to have as a gamer.
Feeling like fully free. Zelda Breath of the Wild, climbing on anything gives you that feeling of like, oh, I'm free.
Yeah, right. I'm free at last from the confines.
I like this place was awesome because it was the first world, so it was the first big, huge space of crazy stuff happening in every corner.
And it was really where we found out, like, because at the beginning we're like, man, we can't fucking win any fight. Like, this game is too hard. And then, like this and every other act, we realized, like, once you level up past a certain point, then it feels like, okay, now it's fun. And that's one of the things I didn't like about the game. I felt that that happened with every act. You got into a new act and there's a difficulty spike. And it's like you just had to get through the first couple hours and then it's like fun again. But that sucks. Like, why did it have to be that way? It feels like they needed more lower level missions at the beginning of every act or something to negate that fact. And I'm not the only one that felt that way. I looked online. A lot of people felt that way.
It needed like fetch quest, explore quest, easy to do stuff right at the beginning that helps you explore the world, the new map, and gets you some levels, gets you some XP and some levels, or they just need to tweak the levels.
We just needed another like extra level.
You needed to be able to get like basically one level up.
Yeah, because one level was a huge difference.
Almost like Borderlands in the sense like where you felt it between levels.
Like it was like, oh, now we can go do this fight and not die.
And yeah, it just needed to be balanced a little better so that when you first arrive on a map, you're not completely just hammered by everything. We would go eventually by Act 3 and 4, we would just go run everywhere, mark the map with, okay, these are level 10s, okay, these are level 20s, okay, these are level 14s. And that way we knew, like, don't even bother going. If you're 17, almost don't bother going to 18 spots.
Right, because every fight in this game, remember, is a big deal. So it's not like we could just go do some trash mobs and grind. That's not how this game works. Like you had to gain experience by like a big fight. Every fight was a thing.
That's a good point. Every combat encounter is
no grinding.
A combat encounter. D&D, like I mentioned the first time, the combat takes a while.
Right.
But I love it.
So Act 2.
Act 2 was...
That's Reaper's Coast.
Yeah.
That's when you escape the island of Fort Joy, and you basically get your freedom as a sorcerer. Yeah, I don't remember... I mean, I remember this one lasted forever.
This one we spent the most time in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the blobs of oil fight really pissed me off.
Ooh, oh, God, I just got... Whoa.
There's a fight where you have to... you're freeing another sorcerer that is tied up, and they're gonna hang him by the white magisters. You know, play the game. That makes more sense. And all of a sudden, there's just like an enemy called a blob of oil, and there's like a million of them, and they just light on fire, and it was really fucking annoying.
Mm-hmm. I feel that there's 4. This isn't about Act 2. This is just about the game. There's like 4 environmental type things. There's water, blood, electricity, fire, and poison, right?
Oh, so 5.
5.
And smoke. You can count.
And there's smoke and there's deathfog. Anyways,
Anyways,
I feel there's only 2 very viable, and then maybe there's a way around it. But I feel like if you're not using fire and you're not using poison, you're not playing the game right.
I don't know.
I mean, there's still ways to do it without it.
We certainly didn't use like water and electricity.
Right.
Yeah, we started doing this whole... It was very fun once we figured out... Act 2 is also where we figured out how to spec our characters.
Act 2 I have the fondest memories of, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like, Act 2 is where we learned it, and we were never tired of it, but, you know, it was the most... We're good at this game, or, you know, loving this game, and we have all this space to play in, where by the time 3 and 4 hit, we weren't rushing, but I don't know. 2 is when I imagine this game, I picture being in 2, Reaper's Coast.
Yeah. Right. So when we were speccing our characters, we were doing a whole pyro mage thing. We ended up using, what was her name? Losa. She was like our pyro mage, and she would do a lot of fire move. I don't know. It was fun. That was a fun thing to do. Like setting up the environment to work for you was basically like the best way to play the game. Yeah.
Eventually we even got deathfog barrels.
Well, that's the last act.
Okay, because I liked that. So we'll
that's a big deal.
Act 2, I liked Paradise Downs, which is an area of the map that's very splintered, like canyons, like an earthquake kind of thing had hit. And I did. Again, it's almost like the lightning tower thing. One of my favorite parts was I jumped ahead where I wasn't supposed to be, kind of snuck around some guards, and got a chest early, right? So I got some pretty cool gear just by teleporting in spots, you know?
Right. And the game really doesn't punish you for that.
Right. I don't think the only punishment levels
the higher level weapon, right?
Is weapons.
Yeah.
They aren't as they have less accuracy if you're not leveled up. But armor, put it on. Fuck it. We don't care.
I also remember us beating one of the harder bosses of the act by just standing on a cliff. And
oh yeah, I think we talked about that
right
one, right?
on the we possibly did, right on the edge of combat, and just that was fun.
Cheese the hell out of them. That was fun too.
Yeah, it was very fun to cheese this game. I think the game kind of wants you to play like that. That's why they had the teleportation. Why put that in if you didn't want us to fuck with shit?
And that's why they had deathfog. I feel
deathfog is also
a material that the second you step in it or human characters step in it, they're dead.
Yeah.
So then Act 3 was the Nameless Isle.
That was probably the shortest act, and that was like an in between when you're going to. What are you doing in that act? Something about the gods.
Yeah, you're like trying to.
There's all the shrines to the 7 gods.
Yeah, I think at this point you're trying to gain. I guess we should have read up on it. You're trying to. At this point, you are gathering more knowledge of like, okay, I'm gonna become a god. Like, yes, I've been on my way, but now I'm really on my way to becoming. You're still chasing
Alexander,
a god.
You're chasing what's her face for taking the divinity
Dallas.
from you. Yeah, Dallas. That's right. That's a weird name, right?
I don't know. It's kind of cool. It does not an
reminds
A.
me of Texas.
If it was an A, I'd be like, I'm Dallas. But
that's how I still think of it.
With an I.
What I remember about this mission, there was this one quest that I thought was interesting where the god of imps, you go into their device and you have to you get shrunk down basically, and you go into their device of a labyrinth where you have to solve some puzzles. Remember that one?
Yeah.
And there's the deathfog countdown, that giant orb. It was very it reminded me of something from Fable. It reminded me of a Fable quest. Just really weird all of a sudden and out there. And I liked that. I also remember killing the great mother tree of all the elves. I thought that was cool. I thought the elf, because I was playing as what was her name?
Sebille.
Sebille. Yes, thank you. I was playing as, is that her name?
Sebille.
Sebille. She had to choose whether or not to kill the great tree of the elves, and because essentially they're being enslaved, it's sort of like ignorance is bliss kind of slavery by this tree, so I ended up killing it. I don't know. I thought that quest line with the race was really cool.
You go into the tree, and you're in that part that's no, remember that?
No, that was the imp thing I'm talking about.
Well, no.
Oh, right.
It's a fork.
That little
forked
setup
area around the tree.
Yeah, I liked killing the tree. That was fun.
I don't remember much from Act 3.
Yeah, it was sort of
I don't think
a little unremarkable. It felt like we rushed through it a bit, too.
We did, right? Because we left that one too early.
Yeah, we left that one too early where it even said, I think we talked about this possibly. Maybe not.
I don't think we were here yet when we recorded.
It basically was like, are you sure you want to leave? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And I was like, oh, wait, that means we can't come back. I forgot that's the way this game works. You can't go back to the previous act, so we missed a bunch of quests. And I was a little bummed.
Yeah, and then we got to Act 4, which is the big city. And we
Ark's Landing.
Ark's Fatalis. That's a game.
Ark's Landing. The city of Arks.
We could not do anything for a good amount of time.
Yeah, we did our thing of going around being like, okay, we have, and it was only 3 options of things we could fight. And the one we determined is the most possible that leads us into the city was extremely difficult for us to do. That was a hard day.
When you first arrive on this map, when did we fight the bugs across the bridge? The little boy's mom was across the bridge.
That was in Act 2.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I was going to say, wait, we were fine. Yeah,
no,
that was cool.
Act 3 or Act 4 was really hard. That was the bugs in the castle with the fire.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was very annoying.
When we finally
get into Arks,
it's pretty cool. It's a good city.
I liked it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
That was fun. I enjoyed exploring the city. And I liked that it felt like, okay, we're out of the jungle and now we're doing quests just in the city. That was the setting. You know what I mean? It totally changed up the setting of the story.
Something that I found strange, and maybe you picked up something I didn't. The Thieves Guild is mentioned, and then you go do a Thieves Guild mission, and it's a little girl, and that's it?
It's just got some kids.
I don't understand. Is that a joke?
Some kids. I don't know.
It's not funny.
I don't know.
I was like, oh, Thieves Guild, yes. Yeah. And then we get down there, it's a girl who controls.
Do you think Skyrim fucked us up because,
a little bit, because that was my favorite.
Yeah.
Right.
Because I thought Skyrim too.
But a guild of thieves. So the only thing I was thinking, it just hit me now, I wasn't really thinking about that much, is maybe these stories got told of the Thieves Guild. In the lore of the game, people in the city talk about the Thieves Guild because they hear the girl down there with her imps or trolls that she has. Or maybe she sends her trolls out to steal stuff. Maybe...
That doesn't seem very thief-like.
Right, a troll.
It's just like really like a couple kids.
I'm sneaking. But that was a bummer. It's in the sewers too, which is like the quintessential Thieves Guild spot.
Yeah.
There was a wedding.
I loved the dwarf's wedding. I thought that was
wedding.
fun. There's a lot of quests revolving around the dwarven wedding. Oh, the doctor.
The doctor is constantly talked about in a weird way because it's like...
The doctor is a big deal, but it's also not.
It's a big not deal.
Like, we killed the doctor, and actually that battle ended up being very easy, but that's also when we started using deathfog. So we discovered the Queen of Dwarves ended up working with an awful other dwarf that decides to use deathfog to kill us all. Anyway, we thwart this mission, and now we have all this deathfog.
There's a large plot point from Act 2 forward, I'd say, where they're like, there's deathfog going into Ox, be careful!
Right, the dwarves are, they're talking about the dwarves using like the ultimate weapon, essentially a genocidal weapon.
And they're storing it down in the sewers, and they're going to release it. I assume the plan is release it, and it will come up through the sewer grates and stuff.
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
So we...
The tone of this game is very dark. I forget to say.
But Fable-esque humor sometimes.
Yeah, it's weird.
Goofy
but
British...
much darker than Fable was. Actually, Fable was kind of dark too sometimes.
I would say they're on par, but don't...
But not the same.
Yeah.
This game is gory almost.
The...
So we use the deathfog barrels.
Well, so we thwart that plan.
Right.
We thwart the dwarf.
Okay.
Thwart the dwarf. Say that 7 times fast.
No.
Try it.
Thwart the dwarf, thwart the dwarf, thwart the dwarf, thwart the dwarf, thwart the dwarf.
We thwart their plan, and now we have all this death fog just ready. Like, it's in barrels and crates that you can put in your inventory.
It definitely seems like they set that up. Because you can, you understand, you can take barrels of ooze or barrels of oil at early part of the game. And a warrior can carry these things easily and use them in battle.
And it's in your inventory, it's not in your hands or something.
Right.
So you could throw, if you had an oil spill attack, you could then throw a fire barrel on it and shoot it with an arrow.
There's no fire barrel. There's just oil barrel and fire attacks. That's the difference.
Whatever.
Listen, we're trying to be experts.
You're right.
Maybe. But I get what you mean.
Yeah, but you could use these barrels to your advantage. So this barrel just carries a literal fog of death that spreads out, I don't know, 6 feet surrounding the...
Quite a bit.
It spreads out a bit, but not enough to be... You can totally kill it, or, utilize it.
Right, without dying.
Without killing yourself.
Because it kills everyone but people that are undead, which there are a lot of undead characters. Mm-hmm. So we had to be... So we ended up stockpiling them right next to a waypoint. Which was like our little... We took a picture of that.
Yeah.
Which we should use for this episode. Yeah. Because it's really funny. We would go back to the waypoint every time we needed more death fog. It became like we wouldn't use it for everything, but when a mission got a little too annoying or a battle got too annoying, then we would bring it out. The death fog became our
last
card.
Resort.
What's our the last resort?
Yeah.
What's the trump card?
Yeah. I guess where it's like, all right, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, like you really we're gonna die multiple times. All right, bring in death fog.
So we would I would go down to one of my characters would go down to the thing, and if you're not near battle, you're not in battle, so I can still run around freely and teleport barrels to you or my other character who is in combat in taking their turn.
Or we would just take the barrels before we got there.
Right, but you could, yeah. But we would do that by using the teleportation cubes and stuff, or triangles.
Right, yeah. And we would just throw it, and people would die immediately. Like the game the game made it clear, like you can do this, but it circumvented it in some cases, like making people undead, because it did that in the final mission. Like some missions where it was like, okay, they don't want us to use it here.
The final boss, they're all undead almost. Yeah. A lot of them.
And we're gonna talk about that in a minute because we're almost done with these acts. But I mean, do you have anything else to say about Act 4?
So my favorite part of Act 4, I think, is where we got all the death fog. There was these automaton or like statues, moving statues. And
that is not where we got the death fog.
Oh, that wasn't
Those were in the the storage of like treasure by the what was his?
I thought that was
the paladin. The paladin who no, the death fog was just in the sewers. Remember that place was in the garden, and you had to go inside the hatch, and that's where he was hiding like all his treasure.
But I thought we went back there.
No, there's no death fog there.
Anyways. Doesn't matter what was down there really, but it was really fun to be sneaking around these. It was like a stealth game almost. You actually had to sneak in real time.
That was fun, yeah.
Around these things because they moved slowly, but when they caught you, they were unkillable. unless you would kill him.
You had to use source vampirism while it was in a state of recovery.
You'd have to kill it, and
Yeah.
then it goes into recovery mode, and we didn't know that at first, and so it turns into a shell of itself, and we're like, all right, yeah, fuck you,
And
gargoyle, and then it pops open in a couple turns, and it's back to full health, and I guess you can source vampire it, which is like suck its soul out and give yourself its soul. I really like that area just because it was fun a quick little change of pace. You're now sneaking in real time.
Fun. And luckily the game lets you change your attributes very easily, so you can pull up your sneak when you need to. And I think that was a good, respec, like, simply.
And now the final
battle. We were on a normal difficulty playing this game, and so there's essentially two parts to the battle. The first part is a lot easier than the second, and you're basically fighting God, essentially. I mean, you know how it is in JRPGs. You fight God at the end, right? Is that not the ending to RPG?
Yeah, that's all.
I mean, this is not a JRPG. RPGs in general. So anyway, the first part we ended up using deathfog, and we had to find like the perfect spot on the map where the deathfog barrel would kill like four characters
at one time.
Yeah, and then you had to kill another character, but then he came back to life as like the ultimate necromancer, and that was the part of the battle that really pissed us off. And we ended up playing this so many times. We made like 20 save states in multiple like fight positions. Like, okay, should we go back to when I used this attack or when you over there?
And the saves we renamed the saves to be like
just like to figure out where it was.
Telly Dominic, kill Skelly Man. For like we had notes to ourselves in each save file of like what had happened. And like every turn we took, we made another save file because that last turn,
because it was too hard. This was fucking too hard. That's why we had to do this. We had no choice. This was too hard. We weren't able to level up anymore at this point because there's no grinding. I just feel like the difficulty just took off in this last battle. They're like, yeah, we're going all out, but it became terribly annoying.
They throw a massive Hydra, not a Hydra.
Kraken. That honestly, if there was no Kraken, it would be so much more doable.
But still hard. The good kind of hard.
A better kind of hard. Where the Kraken was just like, you couldn't kill it. I mean, you could, but it was very difficult, and there's no point.
If you're spending your time killing the Kraken,
you're dying from other shit.
You're getting killed by the other stuff. And if you're killing the other stuff, and if you kill the Kraken, nothing happens.
Right.
I think it even comes back. We never tried.
Essentially, you just have to kill the one guy, the necromancer, to win. But he's surrounded by all these other dudes. But we tried to just focus on killing him. Eventually, we did it. Obviously, I even debated with him, saying, should we just like not beat? That's how bad it got. I was thinking about not beating the game. Yeah, playing so much of this game and not beating it is bad.
To me, that wasn't an option. But I understood where you're coming from. But I was like, no, we just have to keep doing it this way because each turn, almost each round was super important, and almost each person's turn was super important. You had to do things exactly right at a certain point.
And this was because it was too hard. It shouldn't have been like that.
Like if we moved and we did not pull the guy we needed to pull aggro from, we had to restart because he's gonna kill this. It's gonna chain react, and
this also made us very grumpy.
It just wasn't fun anymore.
It was not fun. We're just like, I just wanted to be fucking done.
But at the end of the day, it's such a small amount of time.
Yeah, but like I said, having it be the last thing was a bitter ending.
It's a bittersweet
but
symphony.
like I said, it's good that we reflected because obviously this game is so great. Like that's not going to affect how I feel about the game as a whole. But I just feel that it was a very badly balanced battle.
In general, I love the combat. Sometimes really I feel like close quarters. Like there was line of sight issues.
There were lines of sight issues.
And it was just like, how the fuck?
Like some weird ass. Like you were the archer. Weird things would happen to Craig's arrows, where sometimes it would seem like it could hit it and it could not.
Mm-hmm. Or
sometimes he'd go too fast, and it was like, okay, that was in your line of sight, but you didn't see, and you just shot anyway. And the game lets you do that, which is fine. But sometimes it would show that he could hit it and not do any, and it would like not hit. I was like, what?
Or I would have this attack where it was like a barrage, like a Gatling gun.
It never worked.
And it's supposed to just hit everybody, you would think. It's showing you the lines of attack, and it like barely worked. I don't know. I think it's just because, especially in close quarters, it's made for field combat. Right. With like waist high walls. You know, like it's made for like a subtle.
Too specific, you know?
But in tight quarters, there was too much. Obviously, it's doing calculations, and it wasn't quite working. And I feel like this final fight had a couple things like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't really a tight quarters, but it just had some like, really? Like I
Right.
can't see around that thing or whatever.
Oh yeah, like I can't see that guy. Okay. So scoring.
Honestly, it's a 5. Like because our scores are not relative to other games, so we don't have to worry about a balance
I
issue
want to
here.
give it a 4.9 because the point one is the difficulty spiking. Really pissed me off for like 8 collective hours of the game at the beginning of every act and the final battle.
Yeah,
That was mad.
that's completely fair.
But other than that, it was great.
This is one of those rare games that it adds to my pantheon of these are the games that define me, right? Like,
Yeah.
not necessarily actually define me, but this is the stack I'd bring to an island. That kind
Right.
of question. Like, Phantom Dust, Shenmue, Jet Grind Radio, Skate, Divinity Original Sin 2.
I
It's
feel
up
like
there.
also this is interesting because it's the first game that me and you connected so strongly to both of us at the same time.
Yeah.
Like none of those other games you mentioned, I really care about, but that, yeah, we both, and it's because it's my perfect. I love fantasy, and you love Diablo.
No, I love exploration. We talked
Right,
about
right.
what we definitely we get two different, not very, but we get two different things out of it, but we get it really well.
Right. I also want to shout out. We watched a documentary about Larian Studios by Gamementary, and they did it's like in about an hour, 45 minutes on YouTube. It's awesome. You should definitely go watch it. It's free to watch. It's a great documentary.
Maybe watch it first if you're on the fence. Like, I don't know. It seems like a lot. I don't know.
It's a really
cool.
interesting story about the studio and this journey that they had a fucking hard time making this game and all the other games before it. So that's really interesting. It's a good watch if you want to know more about the studio and about this game in general. So snacks? What snacks do we eat?
Tons, because we played hundreds of hours of this. Let's see. It's got to be like medieval turkey leg. Okay. One hand on the controller. No, you know what? You can have messy food with this one because between rounds you can stop.
That's true. Turkey legs and pudding. Is pudding messy food? I guess not. I want some vanilla pudding. Do you like vanilla or chocolate pudding, like snack packs?
Snack packs are completely different than pudding.
Okay, Craig. Do you like vanilla or chocolate?
Snack pack is a snack pack. Snack pack, vanilla.
Me too.
Hershey's or Swiss Miss pudding, chocolate.
I've never had Swiss Miss pudding.
Well, you're wrong.
Let's skip the news today and do the cup. What do you say?
Armchair Co-op Game Design. Grab that cup. Here we go. Okay, so if you're new here, we're going to dig out of our cup full of mostly single-player games, and we're going to add a co-op section to it, and we try to be a little bit more creative than just make it two-player.
Okay. Today we have Harvest Moon, Stardew Valley.
What?
I said Stardew Valley.
So in this one, I'm going to say add a second player.
Yeah, I mean, we still haven't played Stardew Valley because we wanted to wait for co-op for Switch. We're still waiting.
We wanted to wait for Switch. Finally, it's out.
And co-op.
Now we're waiting for co-op.
And it's so funny. I've been even able to hold off this long because I'm the biggest Harvest Moon. I've played so many Harvest Moon games, but I'm really excited to play Stardew Valley with you. It's going to be fun. So essentially, see, did we write this before Stardew Valley was co-op? That might have been it.
Yeah, these have been in this cup for a year. We've been doing this podcast for nearly a year. I think, let's see, can we do any? Honestly, I'd like to add a shopkeeper mechanic. Like, if I could...
Like Moonlighter?
Yeah. If I could be the shopkeeper, we could be different roles in the village of Harvest Moon. Is there a village?
Yeah, there's a town.
I would love to... You are the farmer. I am the veterinarian. I am the butcher. You sell me your meat, and I chop it in half.
You know, that kind of reminds me of Fantasy Life.
Yeah, but that wasn't two-player, was it?
It was. You can play it on 3DS.
How in-depth was each job, though?
Not as in-depth as you're talking. I feel like it could be a more in-depth thing. But I like the idea. Sort of like taking Fantasy Life to the next level of no combat. Because Fantasy Life goes into combat more than it does the job.
Yeah.
But taking it to the next level where you're just, like, doing whatever you're doing. But, I feel that's less cooperative play and more like adjacent play. Because how often... I mean, every so often, maybe my dog needs to go to the vet. But what if he doesn't?
But you have an animal... You have a farm full of animals. You increase how often they get sick because this is a mechanic for your thing. Or No, like you'd balance the game differently. You wouldn't just.
Well, would you get to choose your job, or
Yeah,
it'd be just
absolutely.
one? Okay.
So if I'm the storekeeper, we strike deals where you bring me $5,000 a day, I give you 50% of the.
It's an interesting idea.
I think that'd be cool.
Yeah.
You could obviously do way more in depth. I want it more in depth.
Right.
Go more in depth than what we're saying.
I like the idea
cool.
of just having 2 separate farms.
But yes.
Which Stardew Valley isn't. Stardew Valley
right.
is one farm, which is fun to try. I do want to do, but it would be interesting to do Harvest Moon where you have 2 separate farms.
And maybe slightly.
And maybe a competitive edge.
A little bit, a little competitive. Like, hey, our strawberries are bigger.
I think that'd be fun. Do Harvest Moon competitively almost.
Could you do it just 2 people on 2 3DSs, 2 copies of the game? Like.
Yeah, but you would probably stop playing at the same time. Like, because the way the time goes, you can play let's play up to September, or let's play up to spring.
See how much money you can get.
Yeah, that'd be kind of
interesting. Kind of interesting.
But money isn't a mark of your success.
Well, whatever. You'd figure out a thing.
Right. No, I like that idea.
I think it'd be fun to co-oply compete like that.
Co-oply.
No, but I was trying to. If you're doing the competitive way, is there a way to shoehorn? Not shoehorn. That makes it bad.
Yeah, shoehorn co-op. That's what we do. We shoehorn co-op into these games. That's
No. If you're doing this competitive thing, I'm not talking 2 3DSs. I'm talking if this was a game, like you were saying, competitive farms.
Yes.
I feel like there needs to be like county fairs that you go to, and you raise your sheep compete for best sheep. You know what I mean?
That's like Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Harvest Moon has best sheep, and then you go to you would each go to the county fair. Like,
I would love that.
That'd be
and
really
like it's
fun.
like a friendly rivalry type thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be. You could get heated and burn each other's crops if you want.
Oh my god. That would be such a funny like that's not Harvest Moon at all. But it would be funny to make Harvest Moon like slightly dark and like you can go like kill their cows.
Yeah. And then you can eventually get like sentry robots that are patrolling.
Okay,
the fields.
now that's too much. There's no. This is farming. There's sprites. There's possibly
scarecrows
magical
with
sprites.
machine guns and swords.
No weapons. It has to be like classic fire and knives.
Anyway, I don't want to compete. I just want to have a farm together.
And we are going to, and I'm really excited for Stardew Valley. That's going to be really fun.
Why don't you take us on out of here?
So before I go into social media, I just want to talk about a little bit about our game of the week this week. I just want to highlight an indie game that I've noticed, usually one that's like not super released yet.
Right. I think it's important that for this segment, also we mention, we don't know if these are good.
Right. We've never played these. I just want to like highlight them because it's co-op, it looks interesting, and maybe you should check it out. Or maybe not, and do whatever.
It's not going to be like Pokemon Let's Go comes out. Right. Everybody knows that.
So the game I was checking out this week is the Blackout Club, which is currently in early access on Steam, and it is a co-op first-person horror game, which has procedurally generated levels where you basically go around, you're a bunch of teens, and you're hiding from monsters and stuff like that.
Co-op hiding, is one player a monster? Is it like Friday the 13th?
No, you're all teens. So it's not like Friday the 13th. It's a little bit different. I like the art style a lot too. It's like much more bright and fun.
Bright horror?
Like bright neon colors in a horror game.
Cool.
It looks really interesting, so maybe go check it out. But I like the idea of more co-op horror games because I'm scared of playing horror by myself. Can't do it.
It's available or
it's early access. Anyone can go early, but it's not finished. So things may change, but go check it out. Awesome. All right, and as far as social media, you can go follow us on Twitter at Saves Together. We are also on Instagram under the same name. We try to post there like plenty of times a week, like once a day. We try, but not always. Twitter is where we post like all of our updates. We're hosted on SoundCloud, but you can find us on basically all your podcast affiliates. We recently got into Spotify. Wow, an exclusive club. You can go find us on Spotify now. And we're also on YouTube where we sometimes, not very often, upload videos. Podcasts are our priority, and we're still kind of moving into that area. But you can go check out what we have there right now. It's Saves Together, but you can find the URL on Twitter in our link.
I think if you just search Saves Together on YouTube, it comes up.
You can, yes. Right, and if it doesn't, then go check our Twitter because it's our website link.
Yeah.
All right, and that's all I got.
Cool. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thanks
for
listening.
Let's go play Tetris.
All right, let's do it.